Milton Sports Hall of Fame is proud to present the inaugural induction ceremony.
Tonelli, the Neister, he scored! The Islanders win the Stanley Cup!
I had to look at the things responsible for my life today. It's all about growing up in this town of Milton.
This is probably the biggest moment of my life. Thank you.
Welcome the Milton Sports Hall of Fame induction class of 2017.
Where I learned how to lead, where I learned how to win with humility and lose with respect, where I started on a path to the man I would become, and where I became a small part of something much greater.
This is the class of 2018.
I wanted to become a great fighter. That changed, and it became my journey. 55 years.
Welcome to the Milton Sports Hall of Fame, the induction class of 2019.
When they were awarding the Stanley Cup, we were standing side by side, and I remember looking at Bruce and saying, two guys from Milton, can you believe this?
You just became connected to the community, and Milton, and somewhere along the line, stopped being just a place where I worked and started being my home.
We can all do something. Find out what your something is and be something to someone.
Our Milton Sports Hall of Fame induction class of 2020.
Probably went through 1,000 kids, more than 1,000 kids over the years. And I don't know if, like, some of them were pains in the butt, but I never met a bad one.
With this honor of being inducted into the Sports Hall of Fame, it is the crowning point in my minor hockey career, and I thank you.
What I learned as a competitor and as a daughter is that it's not what you're up against. It's not who you're up against. It's who's got your back.
We're at Mohawk Racetrack, where I just grew up behind here, and I've been coming here since I was 10 years old, so that's quite a while. So it's kind of ironic that we're here where it all started.
The people that you meet and the teams that you grow with, you can really bring that back home. And home is where the heart is, and that's Milton. So thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2022 Milton Sports Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Here's your host, Melissa Candelaria.
Whoever cheered for me, I really appreciate that. Okay. I mean, I might have done TV for a living, but speaking in front of people is quite nerve-wracking, so thank you. Good evening and welcome to the 2022 Milton Sport Hall of Fame induction ceremony. I am Melissa Candelaria. I'm your MC for this evening, and many of you who do know me as Mel, so feel free to call me Mel throughout the evening. I was fortunate to have almost 14 years of experience in media as a TV and radio reporter, working in places like Alberta, Parry Sound, Muskoka, and in Halton. And, you know, every community has something unique about each one that makes them who they are. And it's interesting to find out and meet some of the people and find out what those traits are that truly make that community. But the one consistent thing I will tell you in all the communities that I've worked at is the sport, the community of sport, and what that does for that particular community. I am very honored to be here with you tonight. It isn't my first induction ceremony that I have emceed. I've done a couple before, and I just can't get away from it. I have a 3-year-old daughter, just a quick anecdote, who is now starting to get into some activities, gymnastics, soccer, and most recently she's getting into skating. And recently she had finished a skate program, and she saw in the arena across from her where her class was a bunch of figure skaters skating, doing some figure eights and all these figure skating spins. And she goes up to the wall, palms slammed, cheeks right to the screen, and says, "Mommy, what are they doing? I want to do that." So Nancy, I might have to come to you after this night to talk to you how I get her into figure skating. But all of this to say is that in the many communities that I've worked in and the many people that I've talked to, the idea of sport, and some people who are not in this community may not understand how truly important it is, and it's an integral and vital it is to making a successful and vital community. It is one of the building blocks, I would say, that makes a thriving community. And the lessons kids learn, and I hope my daughter learns through any sporting activity she gets involved in, will help her in the years to come. So things like discipline, you know, resiliency, confidence, leadership, that takes anybody beyond the world of sport. So I'm really, again, honored to be here tonight, and that is why we are here tonight, is to honor those very people in this room. We are fortunate to be joined this evening by some of our alumni of the Milton Sport Hall of Fame, so stand up. Let me introduce all of you. Can you stand? Let's see, where are you? Are you there? There we go. We've got Scott Hogarth. Peter McDuffie. Where is he? Oh, there he is. Jim Leeworthy. Martha and Pat Gleason. Travis Garrett. It's really nice to meet you last year. And of course, Darlene Krantz. There you are. So now I'd like to welcome the Milton Sport Hall of Fame induction class of 2022. Anytime now. In the athlete category, Jack Roberts, represented by his granddaughter, Ashley Elliott. In the builder category, Steve LeBlanc. Also a builder, Glenn Turner. Keith Pearce. And Nancy McDonell-Lemaire. Let's give them one more round of applause. Woo! Thank you. Words of encouragement. That's what our athletes do and our builders do in this community, right? At this time, I would like to welcome to the stage the chairman of the Milton Sport Hall of Fame, Joe Jaworski.
I forgot those lights are quite bright. I'm sorry. And this. I'm not going to look that way. Thank you, Melissa. Hall of Famers and 2022 inductees, family, friends, and supporters, on behalf of the Board of Directors, welcome to this, our 6th induction ceremony. We acknowledge the land we are celebrating on today. It is a traditional territory of many Indigenous peoples. Many of our sports today have their roots and the recreational activities created by them. We are sincerely grateful to all of our sponsors that are listed in your program tonight. The purpose of the Milton Sports Hall of Fame is to honor and celebrate outstanding achievement by athletes, sports teams, and builders. Milton has had a passion for sports, and with the support of schools, clubs, parents, teachers, and of course, all the fans, Milton has produced many successful athletes, teams, and builders. The class of 22 have all excelled in their chosen sports, not only at the local level, but on the world stage as well. The members of the Milton Sports Hall of Fame Board of Directors, we are all volunteers. We receive nominations from the public, do research, elect inductees, fundraise, and produce the ceremony we're having tonight. These activities are all year round. So tonight, I personally thank all of the board members for their dedication and hard work to creating today's celebration, befitting the class of 2022. Please join me in thanking the members of the board. And if you're interested in becoming a member of the board, please come see me after the program or see one of the other board members. Nominations for the class of 2023 are now open, and you can submit the nominations now. Just look at our website. There's a tab there for nominations. I give a special thanks to Crispin Martin. He is a liaison person between the board and the town. We also want to thank the town of Milton for this partnership, especially for the wall space here in the Sports Center, the home of the Milton Wall of Fame. A special shout out also goes to Lindsay Ripper. She created tonight's program. Please join me in thanking the town staff and all the volunteers who make events like this possible in our town. Sports has given today's inductees the opportunity to play, to shine, and to teach others. Their commitment of time and talent is an inspiration to all of us, especially to the young athletes here in Milton. So on behalf of the Milton Sports Hall of Fame and everyone here tonight, we congratulate and thank the class of 22 for their contributions to sport in Milton. Thank you. So now I would like to welcome onto our stage our mayor, His Worship, Mr. Gordon Krantz.
Well, Joe, thank you very much. Now, of course, most of you know that I rarely ever follow the script, and you're probably wondering what two of us are doing up here. And of course, one of the previous inductees here is my niece, Darlene Krantz, and she was on the screen there just a short while ago. From time to time, I need a bodyguard. And of course, Darlene is my bodyguard here this evening. But on the serious side, I want to congratulate the best of the best being inducted here in the town of Milton on the Sports Hall of Fame here this evening. And of course, as mentioned, Darlene is one of those. There's several, including my brother, that couldn't be here this evening as well. They're from the art of martial arts, and in Darlene's case, she's a 2 or 3 time world female title holder in martial arts. So that's why she's my security here this evening. But when I talk about family, I don't only talk about my personal family, such as Darlene is with me here, but I talk about the Milton family. And there's roughly 140,000 of us. But when I talk about the best of the best, the people that are going to be recognized in a few moments here are the best of the best. And I can share with you, you are also joining the best of the best. So I thank you very much for having me being present here this evening. And as well, I've not missed one of these on recognizing those Miltonians that's made a great contribution here. And I know I've met many of you here this evening. So to Chairperson Mel, thanks very much. And Mel and I have worked together for quite some time. Joe, I want to recognize you and that team that you work with on the work that you do over the past 6 years and will continue to do. So I thank you very much for that. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy your evening. Thank you.
And no script. Find my place in the script here. Oh, yes. I'd like to thank or give a shout out to some of our sponsors today who have, we wouldn't have this event if it wasn't for our generous sponsors. So I think they're supposed to show up on the screen at some point. There you go. The platinum sponsor, Milton Skating Club, where my daughter may join. And here are our gold sponsors. And our silver sponsors. And of course, a special thanks goes to the Town of Milton Community Fund and also to YourTv, Stu Aker and Jacob Moore for producing the TV broadcast this year, and Jack Ryan for producing the induction videos as well, and the volunteers that are here tonight. So we talk about volunteers. Your local television station, I'm just gonna put a little plug here, is an integral part of what makes a community great and showcasing a lot of the things that we do in this community, including in the world of sports. So definitely support your local television station and your local media as well. Thanks. Went off script for that one. This past July, the Milton Sport Hall of Fame was pleased to renew its youth-focused initiative called the Journey to the Hall of Fame Summer Sports Camp, providing an avenue for healthy, active living and inspiring the next generation. Taking place at Milton District High School, the camp was run by an incredible team of volunteers and led by Greg and Simon. Take a look.
Get open! Yeah!
Here!
Let's go.
I got two!
Nice job!
While there were many incredible camp athletes this year, the Milton Sport Hall of Fame selected 2 individuals as Summer Sports Camp Athlete of the Week recipients. I'd now like to call to the stage Reed Bender and Quinn Petrie. Let's give them another round of applause. So these awards serve for these young athletes as the future taste of what entering the Milton Sports Hall of Fame would be like. Next year's camp will be held from July 17th to the 24th. And for more information, you can always go to the Milton Sports Hall of Fame website. Okay, now, this is the moment. So our first inductee of the evening, inducted in the athletes category, is Jack Roberts. Jack Roberts was born in the hamlet of Campbellville in 1934. After a notable juvenile level career in his hometown, a newly formed intermediate team, the Campbellville Merchants was eager to bring the young pitcher into the fold when its players first stepped onto the field under the direction of Len Andrews in 1952. Over the course of his stellar amateur career, the Southpaw hurler would win 180 games for his Village 9 team, dropping only 46 decisions, recording a winning percentage of .976. The Merchants fans instantly took to their star. Nicknamed the Banana for the way he imitated batters and sidearm pitches that appeared to be headed straight for left-handed opponents, Jack's victories accounted for 43.5% of the team's 411 wins during a 16-year reign of domination, of which he pitched in 15 seasons. Jack passed away in 2022, earlier this year, at the age of 87. Secure in the knowledge he held one of the greatest amateur pitching careers this province has ever seen.
Jack Roberts was a pitcher for the Campbellville Merchants from 1952 to 1967. He unfortunately passed away this past April, but this Thursday he will be taking his place in the Milton Sports Hall of Fame.
It's a great honor. He really enjoyed his baseball career and loved baseball. I'm sure he would be very honored and humbled by this award that he's receiving. We just wish he could be here to accept it, but it's nice to be able to do it for him.
I am sure that my brother would really appreciate this award because he did love his baseball. I mean, he played baseball since 1952, and he used to throw the ball against the house and used to think, boy, it's going to come through the window. So, yes, he lived baseball, and he lived it through the Blue Jays, too.
Jack's selfless nature not only made him a good teammate in person, but also worthy of such a prestigious honor.
Dad was a very easygoing, loving, friendly guy and could help out his teammates. Like I know Garn Mitchell mentioned how much of a help that Dad was to his career, and yeah, he just very humbled by the award, I'm sure.
After years of playing competitive baseball, it's safe to say Jack's legacy lives on through his loved ones.
We were a real baseball family. Pretty much everybody played ball, and my brother and my daughter both were amazing baseball players, as is my grandson. Yeah, a lot of people following in his footsteps.
Reporting for Halton News, I'm Jack Ryan.
Accepting Jack Roberts' induction into the athlete category of the Milton Sport Hall of Fame is his granddaughter, Ashley Elliott.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for attending such a special night to honor some of the amazing local greats. I had the pleasure of meeting many of them before the event. Some of them I knew, some of them it was the first time. Absolutely amazing event. My name is Ashley Elliott again, and I am Jack Roberts' granddaughter, and I have the privilege of accepting this award on his behalf and on behalf of our family. Thank you so much to the Sports Hall of Fame and the town of Milton, and a very special thank you to Garnett Mitchell for nominating my Grandpa Jack. Thank you to Dennis Gibbons for providing the picture on the plaque. Over the last few weeks leading up to tonight, I have been thinking about what he would want to say on this evening. Surprisingly, when it came to stuff like this, he was very shy and very humble. For those of you who have ever crossed paths with him, you would know that he was very passionate on and off the field. For him, baseball wasn't just a hobby, it was a lifestyle. He lived, breathed, and slept baseball. That passion has also gotten him into a lot of hot water over the years. I can tell you personally, from my experience, my grandpa firsthand came to my games and I had seen it all. I can remember one time I was playing provincials in Stratford and he came, amazing cheerleader, but he definitely ruffled feathers with the umpires. He only took a couple innings, and it didn't take long before the game had to come to a pause, and the umpire had to have a little chat with him, and he may have possibly been ejected from the game. I will tell you, 15 years later, when my son was playing baseball, this may have reoccurred. He was just such a bright light. He was such a supporter. He loved his baseball. He loved his family. And I know he would have loved to have been here tonight to accept this on behalf of himself. And we're really proud of him and everything that he's accomplished in his life. Thank you, everyone, for being here. And again, thank you for honoring him tonight. And we really appreciate it. Thank you, everyone.
She almost got me in tears running my mascara, but I held it together. Our second inductee of the evening, inducted in the builder category, is Steve LeBlanc. Steve LeBlanc diligently covered local sports for the Milton Canadian Champion for 25 years and was the longest-serving sports reporter in the newspaper's 160-year history. That's pretty cool. Acting as a trusted steward, Steve meticulously reported on everything from local minor championships, rising stars, and international professionals. Through it all, Steve was the conduit through which Miltonians could not only follow their sons' and daughters' exploits at the rink, field, or pitch, but also find pride in those who had risen to the global or national sports scene and were representing Milton on the big stage. Steve's consummate approach saw him ride shotgun on numerous road trips from Ontario Minor Hockey Association, Junior A hockey to provincial high school championships, and more. Another hallmark of Steve's coverage would be to relentlessly call down to the local rink staff late at night to find out if any word could be had on the outcome of this week's story of interest. Through minor league local sports, though minor league local sports have always been Steve's bread and butter, the 2015 Pan Am Games, with its Milton-based track cycling, are a highlight of his sports reporting career, to be sure. While it is difficult to quantify Steve's impact on the town's sporting history or landscape, unquestionably there is not a single inductee of the Milton Sports Hall of Fame that Steve has failed to profile. In recognition of his dedication to his journalistic craft, Steve has repeatedly been granted industry awards, and in 2011-2012, he received the OMHA Media Award. Always striving to respectfully treat each news story with diligence and perspective, Steve has been the town of Milton's author of record and its sporting history caretaker. And I just want to add here, again, the whole point of local media is to capture those moments, and then they become engraved in history. And he is certainly part of that history that we can all cherish in hundreds of years to come. He has always been a champion of Milton. Let's welcome.
Steve LeBlanc has covered many former Milton Sports Hall of Fame inductees over his 20-plus year career, but on November 17th, he will join their ranks.
It's pretty humbling, I have to admit. Yeah, like you said, I've covered an awful lot of exceptional athletes, quite a few that are in the hall. So, you know, to be concluded in any way, shape, or form with them, it's really special.
Steve recalls one of his favorite moments from his career covering local teams, a championship win for a hockey team that has since relocated.
I'd probably have to say the Merchants All-Ontario Championship in the late 90s. That was probably the first really major success story that I covered. There were so many after that. Olympians, world champions, national champions, but the Merchants seem to kick off a really special and lengthy stretch of success in Milton sports.
Steve credits a lot of his success to all the players and events that he had the opportunity to cover during his career.
Had some really great co-workers over the years that their great work motivated me to do the best I can, and I guess just anybody that gave it their all in local sports and thrived. You know, they offered a lot of inspiration and made my job really special.
Reporting for Halton News, I'm Jack Ryan.
Please welcome to the stage, inducted into the Builder category of the Milton Sports Hall of Fame, Steve LeBlanc.
When they say the longest serving writer for the Champion, it's probably true. I don't know if it can be definitively proven, but I think they're safe to say that. One thing, Joe, that I like that you touched on earlier, regardless of what sport you were in, what capacity, sports has given us all an awful lot, certainly myself included. So, yeah, you nailed it there, Joe. And I'd like to start by thanking the Sports Hall of Fame, Joe and his team, not so much just for my own induction, which is beyond humbling, just for creating something really special here. I think we can all agree that sports success adds a lot of value to a community, and this group of people have done a dynamite job of showcasing that. So after you're done work here tonight, I hope you take a few minutes to realize what a great job you've done. Yeah, take a few minutes for yourself later on. I'd also like to offer my appreciation to the great coworkers that I've had over the years. Herb, Melanie, Stephanie, Graham. Your hard work, your talent, your dedication was always a motivator for me to do the best job that I possibly could. So thank you very much. And just lastly, to anybody who's excelled in sports in this community or put real effort into contributing to that success, just please know that you've offered a lot of inspiration to me, and I'm sure to a lot of young athletes, the next generation. So just to everybody, thank you very much.
Our third inductee of this evening, inducted into the Builder category, is Glenn Turner. No one in Milton has contributed to baseball as long and as fully as Glenn Turner. As a 5-year-old, he first came to love the game and played minor ball from 1960 to 76, winning Ontario Baseball Association titles twice. He continued to find new ways to contribute when he took up umpiring for the Rep Minor League from 74 to the early 90s. It was in his teens when Glenn got his first taste of coaching, first with House League and then as an assistant for the local Bantams. From there, he would go on to coach Milton's juvenile and junior level teams for 15 years, again winning 2 provincial championships. In 1977, Glenn and some others formed the Milton senior team. He shone as the catcher and center fielder, earning MVP honors in 1981. Glenn stepped up to become player coach before graduating to the Red Sox general manager in 1987. Under his watch as GM, they won 4 OBA championships and have been finalists 3 times. In all, he has been to 13 OBA finals as a player, coach, or general manager. Glenn took particular pride in the diamond maintenance at the then new Brian Best Park in 1978, doing so for 33 years before serving as advisor to the town on the creation of the 2 new community park diamonds more recently. In 2008, Glenn was Milton Chamber of Commerce Sportsman of the Year. To this day, he remains active as the Milton Red Sox GM.
Glenn Turner has been involved in baseball in Milton for over 4 decades. A one-time catcher and now administrator, Glenn is being recognized by the Milton Sports Hall of Fame as one of its 2022 inductees, and baseball is still a constant in his life.
Every time I go to the ballpark is a great day, no matter what. Except if it's raining and then it's way too much work that I have to do in order to get the diamond ready. Been many league and OBA championships and finalists along the way, and absolutely everyone has been so special, and those obviously mean so much more throughout all the years.
Glenn recalls one of his fondest memories from his career as a member of the Milton Red Sox, a championship win over 30 years ago.
I think the TSN turning point for the Red Sox was winning the 1991 senior championship, and that was versus Ajax of our old Brian Besta in 1991. That actually propelled the senior Red Sox at the level that we are today.
When it comes to his Hall of Fame induction, Glenn holds his family in the highest regard for his success.
It all starts with Lorena, who has been dragged to almost every single baseball diamond in southern Ontario. The Red Sox slashed the Royals actually at the time. Had some very difficult and tough times in the 1980s, but it really helped to have my brothers John and David on the team at the time. That really helped me push on.
Reporting for Halton News, I'm Jack Ryan.
Without further ado, please welcome to the stage, inducted into the Builder category of the Milton Sports Hall of Fame, Glenn Turner.
Thanks, Melissa. As you can tell, it was pretty windy when I was doing that interview that day, which is exceptionally unusual for Milton Community Park. It never freaking stops being windy there, ever, ever, ever. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and to quote Jerry Howarth, hello, friends. I've been invited to bat third in this lineup, which is very apropos, because that was my spot in the batting lineup over the years for the most part. This is a proud time to me be a Miltonian, as the idea of a Milton Sports Hall of Fame is not new at all and has been floated out many times over the decades, say 40 years or so. The current board came out of absolutely nowhere and is truly remarkable and how it evolved with such diverse and talented people. Congratulations to Jack, Steve, Keith, and Nancy. And I guess while I'm at it, congratulations to everybody else who was inducted previously. To me, this year is a grassroots class, which is wonderful, as this town has boomed in the name of progress. This allows us to follow in the footprints of the giants that preceded us. I am humbled excited and honored to accept this privilege. I'm certainly not used to this attention, because I'm normally out there in the diamond doing it by myself. But this means more than any words can possibly express. A number of years ago, I read a short story in Trent Frain's book about the legendary sports scribe Jim Coleman and his cronies were sitting in a Toronto bar conspiring against Stafford Smythe to buy the Maple Leaf Gardens. It wasn't a great idea the next day, so it kind of failed. A few years later, some of my workmates were sitting in the Don Valley Holiday Inn and brought me to thinking about it. And they told me that I was a driving force in Milton baseball. And quite honestly, that had never really dawned on me previously. As previously mentioned, Rotary Park ball diamonds were very new when I started at 5 years old. Dad and his buddies had to bring their own lawnmowers to cut the outfield grass. By the time we reached big league dimensions, we had graduated to the old Milton Fairgrounds diamond, but in 1977, that diamond was scheduled to shut down. Luckily, Lawrence of Arena, or Larry Yarbeck, as some may know, the Parks and Rec boss at the time had arranged for a new facility on the old town's landfill site, which ended up being Brian Best Park, and that was born in 1978. Dad and Larry were old buddies from the old Milton Pro-Am Hockey League, which was the predecessor of the current old-timers hockey back in the day. That was baseball diamond number 3 that we had to look after. Doug Timbers helped me for years, and we fought that diamond to keep it playable until the Milton Community Park was built and ready to go in 2012. Unfortunately, a lot of the other people that helped me along the way, I will just acknowledge them en masse. I am proud of the fact to introduce the concept of the community park and to assist in designing the 2 ball diamonds that should last for our kids for many decades to come. After my playing days, there was coaching, managing 50-plus kids between MMBA and the Senior Red Sox for at least 6 months of the year, which gave me a real purpose. This meant dragging Lorena to pretty much every baseball diamond all over southern Ontario. Not too many gals would have had taken that attitude, but if I didn't do that, I think she would have probably kicked me out. I'm lucky to experience many exciting and rewarding events, and I hope to have inspired many youth to drive and to succeed and to never give up. It takes a village to be successful. Having said that, sport teaches life lessons about successes and failures. I've mentioned Dad previously, but the Turner family recently lost our mom, and to both of them, I thank you.
Note, could we get Steve and Ashley to just come up to receive your plaques as well and get a picture?
Yeah, Steve first and then Ashley.
Our fourth induction of the evening in the builder category is that of Keith Pearce. I'd now like to welcome to the stage Drew Todd.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Drew Todd, and I'm the Vice President of the Milton Sports Hall of Fame. I'd first like to congratulate all of this evening's inductees, as well as I'd like to acknowledge the past inductees who are here tonight. Milton has always been known for being a small town, but we sure have big-time talent and people. Every year, our president, Joe Jaworski, thanks the board for their work. I would like to take this opportunity on behalf of the board to recognize all of Joe's efforts and contributions. Joe is the glue that holds the Milton Sports Hall of Fame together. None of this would be possible without the work Joe does. We are a nonprofit organization and we are volunteers. However, Joe treats us as a full-time job. A special thanks goes out to Zena, Joe's wife, for her support. Thank you, Joe. We all want you to know how appreciated you are. The reason I'm up here tonight is to introduce our next inductee. When Keith Pearce was voted into the Hall of Fame, I approached the board asking if I could introduce him. I'm very grateful that they agreed to let me have this honor. I'm a graduate of the Milton District High School football program, and in later years I came back to coach alongside with Coach Pearce. Football is the ultimate team sport. The Mustang football program is like a family, and every family has to have a strong foundation. The four pillars of that foundation are the coaches who built the program: Keith Swarbrick, Doug Foley, Dave Kirk, and the man we are honoring here tonight, Keith Pearce. These four men built the foundation for which Mustang football stands. There have been many who have contributed over the years, but these are the men who are the essence of what Mustang football has always been about. Keith's leadership over the 30 years has helped close to 1,000 students have a place to feel welcome and included. Keith helped lead the Mustangs to 4 senior football championships and as a finalist 8 times. That is pretty impressive since there wasn't a rep football program in town and no other schools in Milton had a football team. Today, most high schools in town have football. That is largely in part due to Keith's and his program success, opening the door for other schools to start their own football teams. Football teams often have traditions. For instance, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish tap "Play Like a Champion Today" sign before they head out of the locker room. A tradition that was developed in the early 90s came when Coach Pearce was giving a motivational speech the night before a big game. The next day as the team huddled before the start of the game, they recited the quote Coach Pearce had taught them. This carried over to the next game, and it continued into the following year. Today, it is still a tradition that the Mustangs use this quote before every game. "For he today that sheds his blood with me shall be my brother." Leave it to a high school football coach, who just also happens to be our English teacher, to teach his team a quote from William Shakespeare. I invite you to please turn your attention to the screens to learn a little bit more about Coach Keith Pearce.
Keith Pearce is a retired teacher and football coach for Milton District High School, and this year he's one of 5 members to be inducted into the Milton Sports Hall of Fame.
When I first came in '86, there was a strong junior program and that had been coached by 2 very dear friends of mine, and they're shown here in this picture, Keith Swarbrick and Doug Foley. So they welcomed me into the group and worked for a year or 2 at junior. And because there was so much interest in the school, among players, they didn't want to stop playing when they aged out at 16 and junior. So we got enough support that we could then expand and develop a senior program, which hadn't been in place at the school for more than a decade, and it just kind of took off from there.
Keith coached the senior football team for over 30 years, and many memories were made along the way.
This one in particular, I really like. It sort of what makes me just think so fondly of it. This is a picture from, I would say, the early 90s. So the senior program had been going then for maybe 3 years or so. And what I like so much about this picture is that this is me here on the end. And then right beside me here is Dave Kirk, who's still coaching with the program and who was just like an outstanding addition to the program. He's been our defensive coordinator for years and years. And these three young men here and this one over here are all graduates of that first team who have now come back to help coach the team. And pictured in among the players here, there are 5 future coaches that are in this picture. So that's one of the things that I'm most proud of, is that sort of continuity of people coming back.
Upon hearing the news that he was one of the 5 selected inductees for 2022, Keith was very humble.
It's a tremendous honor, and I'm very, very, very grateful to the Hall for recognizing me, but even more so for recognizing Mustang football, which has been such an important part of our community for so long. And when you come over to a game, even right now, like the stands here are just filled with parents and grandparents and uncles and aunts. It's just wonderful to see.
Reporting for Halton News, I'm Jack Ryan.
Please welcome to the stage, inducted in the Builder category of the Milton Sports Hall of Fame, Keith Pearce.
Hi, everyone. Hi. Feels like game day after watching that video. All excited. Wow. Go Mustangs. Thank you to the Milton Sports Hall of Fame for recognizing me in the Milton Mustangs. It's a great honor, and I'm truly grateful. To my wonderful family and friends, thank you so much for being here tonight. Your love and support make all things possible, both in football and in life. Over the years, I've been asked the question, why do you coach football? What do you like about it? And my answer is, from the opening kickoff to the final whistle, I love everything about it. I love stand-up ends and shut-down corners, long snapping centers and field goal kickers. I love the shotgun and the pistol, the blitz and the bull rush. I love the hush that falls over the locker room when Coach Kirk gives his pregame speech. And I love the laughter and loud talk of postgame meetings at the O and Coach Swarbrick's house. I love the thrill of playing football under the Friday night lights and Saturday mornings when Steve LeBlanc calls to ask, "Oh, hi, Keith. How did the game go yesterday?" I love the fact that so many of our Mustangs football alumni are successful coaches today, not just in Milton, but in Burlington, Smith Falls, Hamilton, Georgetown, and Guelph. I love the X's and O's of football and the artistry of a well-executed play. The 44 lead, 57 trap, Ted pass left, and the rolly pass right. And I love it when Coach Grant calls 45 power and we take it to the house for a touchdown. But most of all, I love the memories we make together, the stories we tell, and the firm bonds of kinship that are forged through the game of football, the brotherhood, Drew calls it. Stories are wondrous things, declares award-winning author Thomas King. And the truth about stories is, he goes on to say, that's all we are. With gratitude and great respect, I commend the board of the Milton Sports Hall of Fame for celebrating the stories and rich legacy of sports excellence in our community. And from the bottom of my heart, I thank you for making a place in the hall for the story of Milton Mustangs football. Thank you.
Thank you, Keith and Drew. Our final inductee of the evening, inducted in the Builder category, is none other than Nancy McDonell-Lemaire. Nancy McDonell-Lemaire first began her skating journey in 1973 with the Milton Skating Club at the Brown Street Arena. She skated competitively up to the junior level before switching to coaching. For over 30 years, Nancy has guided figure skating's next generations as their coach and mentor, all the while taking the Milton Skating Club from a very small operation to one of Skate Canada's largest and ever prominent clubs. Nancy's impact is limitless, from 3-year-old can skate newbies to Canadian Olympians. Her passion for teaching is without bounds. Time after time, Nancy's former pupils have gone on to become certified instructors, themselves returning to the same rinks of their youth to follow Nancy in her pursuit to pass along the skating skills necessary to conquer an axel or merely to glide unaided up the ice for the first time. Nancy's dedication to her craft is evident in her lifelong commitment to stay behind an extra hour, to travel that extra mile to an event, and most importantly, to provide that extra care and calm at overseas competitions. Her accomplishments extend beyond the rink to the successful implementation of a high-performance sports program in Halton's elementary and secondary schools, affording elite skaters more opportunities to train while still receiving an education. It is a program that has been replicated by many other local high-performance athletes and organizations. At the time of her induction, Nancy is Milton Skating Club's technical director, a national and Olympic level coach, and a positive role model to countless more. It is clear she has imparted a sense that representing Milton comes before oneself upon the skaters she has uplifted.
Nancy McDonell-Lemaire has coached some of the finest Olympic figure skaters to compete for Team Canada, and being a Milton native, her hometown is recognizing her as one of the newest members of their Sports Hall of Fame.
I started figure skating in Milton in 1974 as a skater, started at 4 years old, and fell in love with it right away and skated through my entire teenage years until 18 in Milton, and then started coaching in Milton just in the Can Skate program, helping little kids while I was in university. So after that, looking for a job in my field, but still coaching, I realized that there was a little bit of a love and an interest and a competitive fire that was still there to continue in the sport and see what I could do with some of the skaters that I was coaching, and here we are today.
Nancy has traveled all over the world for competitions, including the Winter Olympics this past February.
My fondest memory from the Beijing Olympics was when Maddie Skizis finished her short program in the team event, and we qualified to the long, which guaranteed Canada an opportunity to get a medal in that event. There was a lot of pressure on her to skate well. If she didn't, we were going to be out of the event, and she had a clean short. It was probably the best of the season, and just a really proud moment to have a skater skate the way they're capable of.
Nancy attributes a lot of her success throughout her career to the expansion of her hometown and of the figure skating program.
You know, I'm just a small town girl from Milton, grew up here. It's just been a lot of, things working out at the right time. Milton growing from just, we had a budget of $50,000 to a budget of $2 million within about 3 or 4 years. Wow. Just happened to be here at that time when I had great people on the board behind me that supported ideas and helped us through the growth so that we could become a small town club that was very successful against some of the big clubs in the province and in the country.
Reporting for Halton News, I'm Jack Ryan.
Please welcome to the stage, inducted in the Builder category of the Milton Sports Hall of Fame, Nancy McDonell-Lemaire.
First of all, thank you everyone for coming tonight. I wanted to thank the induction committee. I can't tell you how many times I've walked down that hallway and we casually look at the display cases, and I was completely unaware of the inner workings of this whole process and how much work it took to put on this event. So I really want to thank everyone. It's truly appreciated, and I know the kids that walk down that hall are inspired and see the pictures, and it really does mean something. So that's great. Congratulations to the other inductees. As a lifelong Miltonian, it makes me proud to be honored tonight with you. The successes of the town should be celebrated, and knowing many of the people that are here in this group, Keith Pearce was my English teacher. Steve multiple times has interviewed our skaters, and I think it's important that he specifically be recognized, as I do believe that the Milton champion in the sports section is something that we really miss, and just the opportunity for the kids to be interviewed by him is something that they are missing out in their lifetime. So I'd like to see that continue. As we said earlier, the skating club started in 1962 at the Brown Street Arena, which, if you're not sure where that was, it's right across from what is now the town hall, which currently at the time was the jail. And I have to say that was a little bit scary when you were growing up and the jail was right beside your skating lessons. So I'm glad we changed that. In the fall of '74, when my parents registered me in Can Skate, I became a member of the Milton Skating Club. And it's a membership that's lasted now uninterrupted for 47 years. My competitive career ended relatively early, and I began coaching while I was in university, and my parents reluctantly watched when I graduated from university and started coaching as a profession, which they were none that happy that I didn't use that tuition money wisely, but here we are today. When I started full-time in the club, we did have a small budget, very limited membership, and the town was stagnating in growth. We were lucky to see the early 2000s with the completion of the water line and the new Milton come along. Our club blossomed to a huge budget, tons of skaters coming, and became one of the largest clubs in Ontario. We had athletes now represent Skate Canada at the highest level within the country as well as internationally. But that road to success was not only lined with our athletes, but also many other people that contributed. We were blessed with great volunteers that always brought great ideas, fresh ideas, and new energy. Could not have done this without the guidance of our presidents, such as Charlotte Kozo and Trish Richmond, Dawn Ross, Teresa Chenadez, and our current president, Tracy Pereira. Even all with the great work of our volunteers, a club is only as good as its coaches. Milton has maintained its stature within Skate Ontario and Skate Canada for many years now, thanks to the tremendous coaching staff that we have. One person cannot do it alone. It is far too much work, and it requires way too much energy to keep up with the young kids, and those teenagers are actually quite exhausting. I'd like to thank all of the coaches that over the years have worked with the club, and they've made it fun, an exciting place to be every day, almost like it's actually not work. But a special shout out goes to Derek Schmidt, Ann and Paul Fisher, and Lori Fuller for being my coaching staff full time. Thank you for stepping up for me when I'm away with the skaters, or filling in when I needed a weekend off, or one of those mornings where I really just needed to sleep in, because you know how much I love those mornings. So I really appreciate it, and I could not have done it without you guys. I'd also like to thank the Town of Milton staff for their continued support of our athletes through the ice allocation and also the high performance school program. Steve Palmer and Crispin Martin and all the rink staff put in tireless hours. They are also there to take our requests for floods, rooms opening, warmer rinks. We ask for that all the time. We can meet again for that next week because it still seems to not be happening. Parents are such an important part also of an athlete's career.
And with the hours that the successful competitive skaters are at the rink with us, they become a large part of our lives. I want to thank the thousands of parents that have trusted myself and our coaching team to not only coach their children, but also be part of shaping them as they grow up. Our goal is to not only create good athletes, but also encourage young girls to build confidence and independence while becoming included members of the community and role models along the way. We have some excellent examples here tonight. Both Maddie Schizes and Leah Pereira are here. Both have competed all over the world, yet still stay in Milton, help coach with CanSkate. They work in our office. They do pep talks in the dressing room and lend help to other skaters when it's needed. Along the same lines as parents, none of this would happen today without my parents' initial registration of me into the CanSkate program. I'm confident they never imagined that this is where we would be here today, but I do believe that they're pretty proud. They follow each event online. They also sometimes even come to watch. And my mom always sends a message with her thoughts and ideas for improvement after every big event. And I know Maddie and Leah always look forward to my mom's messages. Last but certainly not least, I'd like to thank my husband, Mark, and our boys, Christian and Taylor, for their continued support of my career. Many nights, they were home alone while I was working. Many weekends, they were home while I was at competitions. And many holidays, they were home while I was traveling. So thank you, and I love you guys. But we're not quite done yet. We have one more Olympics to go, so it'll just be a few more years. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. And I don't know if you had heard earlier in the evening, you were probably waiting outside, but I had told these folks that I'm going to have to talk to you after about getting my 3-year-old into your program. As we bring this evening to a close, we would like to bring up to the stage a member of the inaugural induction class, Hanshi Scott Hogarth, to officially welcome the class of 2022 into the Milton Sports Hall of Fame.
Wow, here we are again. What I personally think is amazing is all the effort that goes into teaching kids the skills they need for life in this world. And all I can say is thank you. Thank you to every one of you that does that, because that's what's so important. What we do, yeah, I guess it's important, our wins or whatever, but what's really important is what we pass on. It's totally amazing. Thank you very much, everybody. It's truly cool. All right, let's see if I can get this together. When loser draws, always in our corner. Okay. Cancel. There we go. I can see it now. Athlete Jack Roberts was born in 1934 in the town I call home, Campbellville, Ontario. The year I was born, 1952, this amazing athlete stepped onto the field for the first time as a Campbellville merchant. His control of a baseball and the statistics he compiled were absolutely phenomenal. I'm proud to be living in the Bananas town. My personal condolences to all who loved him. An amazing man. In the media, Steve LeBlanc, simply the best and most trusted sport reporter. He probably knows more and remembers more about me than I do. Over those 25 years, I always felt that Steve was family and loved to report on all our efforts. Win, lose, or draw, he was always in our corner. Thank you, brother. It's been an amazing run. Glenn Turner. I really got to chat with this man over the summer, and I really like him. I like the mustache, too. it's kind of cool. It's one of those things that you gotta see right off the bat. This man plays baseball. Glenn Turner loves what he does. After learning all the aspects of the game of baseball and being a successful athlete, he took on the position of general manager for the Milton Red Sox in 1987, a position he holds to this day. This man is so dedicated. When I went to the kids group that they showed up here, he's out there in the rain, dripping wet, dripping off his nose, dripping off his mustache, and he's laughing and having a ball. It's that kind of stuff that makes Milton very special. It truly does. Builder, Keith Pearce, likes a challenge for sure. Definitely reinstating a football program at Milton District High School, I'm sure came with some major hurdles. The good news is for the kids, he did it. The Mustangs' blue and whites, never give up attitude became a force to reckon with. Football was my sport in high school too, and that's what we learned. Never give up, never quit, doesn't matter what the score is, keep chasing that ball. I mean, I was a defensive player, what can I tell you? And here we go for another builder. The same year that I started karate was 1973. Well, that was the information I got, so 1973-74. Nancy McDonell-Lemaire started a figure skating and became a competitive figure skater. She soon found out that coaching and giving others the tools of competition was more fulfilling to her than competing herself. She has continually put Milton's talent on display right to this day. She is an Olympic-level coach and the technical director of the Milton Skating Club. Please, everybody, stand with me and welcome these amazing athletes to Milton's 110% Club, the Milton Sports Hall of Fame. Please stand and rise and congratulate them. Amazing. Wow. Thank you for being a part of this town, and thank you, everybody. I got nothing else to say but thanks. Thank you.
Okay, just one more round of applause for the inductees. One more. Inspiring folks. I'd also like to take this opportunity to also, again, thank our sponsors. So Platinum sponsors the Milton Skating Club. The Gold sponsors Active Transportation, Inc., Ads at Work for You, Gavcom Media Productions, Manulife, Milton Ford Lincoln, Milton Minor Baseball Association, the Milton Minor Hockey Association, the Milton Old Stars Hockey Club, Spring Ridge Farm, Team Garrett's, Vanderholt Productions, Wayne H. Guard, YourTv. Woohoo! The silver sponsors, the Milton Springers Gymnastics Clubs, the Orange Snail Brewers, Roots Marketing, Scooters Catering, Side Effects Graphics, Tiger Images, and Vin Von Milton. Again, I just want to thank you for allowing me to MC this night. It actually is truly an honor, and you know, you couldn't have said it better. You actually did say it better than I did, but I really do think sport is an integral piece of and a foundation of every community. It's what gets kids the confidence they can have and inherit to excel at anything beyond sport or within sport. And I will tell you, my husband and I, we were thinking of where we were going to move. We were thinking about moving, and both of us had agreed to stay right here in Milton because of this. So I'm really happy to be here. We also hope to see even more kids at the Summer Sports Camp, July 17th to the 24th of next year. And of course, we want everyone to return for the 2023 induction ceremony, which is already scheduled for Thursday, November 16th of next year. So mark that on your calendars. For further info about the 2023 nominations deadline, as well as sponsorship opportunities, you can visit the Sport Hall of Fame website, so miltonsportshof.com, or you can email them at info at miltonsportshof.com. Before I say goodbye, I just want to let you know that the bar will remain open till 10 p.m. But a reminder, please drink responsibly. Once again, on behalf of the Milton Sports Hall of Fame Board of Directors, we would like to congratulate our induction class of 2022. Jack Roberts, Steve LeBlanc, Glenn Turner, Keith Pearce, Nancy McDonell-Lemaire. From the 2022 Milton Sports Hall of Fame induction ceremony, thank you so very much and good night. Let's party.